Have you ever wondered why some people seem to enjoy a natural respect, while others seem to be systematically ignored or trampled? It's not simply about aggression, nor superior intelligence, nor power exerted over others. There is something more subtle that escapes sight and analysis, but is profoundly real and significant. Respect is an element that manifests through a series of behaviors and attitudes that we often do not notice, but that have a considerable impact on our interpersonal relationships. There is an invisible line that separates those who are listened to from those who are interrupted, those who are considered from those who are forgotten, those who are respected from those who are exploited. And you know what? That line is you. Your presence, the way you relate to others, your self-awareness, and your recognition of your limits play a fundamental role in this context. It is essential to understand that respect is not a commodity that is obtained passively, but is the direct result of the choices and daily actions you choose to undertake. Respect is not something that can be asked for or begged. Respect is built and imposed silently, without the need for words. Your gestures, your behaviors, and your daily choices speak for you, creating an aura of dignity and personal value that others can perceive. Personally, I spent years wondering why some people seemed to assert themselves effortlessly while I spoke, and it seemed no one paid attention. I struggled to be noticed, but it always seemed like I was missing something crucial. Then I had an epiphany. It wasn't others who were disrespecting me. It was I who was not respecting my boundaries and not recognizing my intrinsic value. That's why today I want to guide you through 7 invisible techniques, 7 inner movements that can transform your presence, even when you remain silent. Because when you start to respect yourself, the world around you responds authentically and naturally. These techniques are not mere guidelines, but true tools to integrate into your daily life that can lead you to greater self-awareness and awareness of others. First technique: know your social limits. Many make the mistake of thinking that respect is obtained by always saying yes, showing availability, and trying to appear good in the eyes of others. But in reality, it is exactly the opposite. Those who do not know their limits have no defined shape, and those without shape tend to dissolve into others, thus becoming invisible. When you cannot discern where you end and where the other begins, when you allow personal invasions to happen continuously, and when you do not listen to your needs for fear of seeming selfish, others perceive it. Respect arises from your ability to say, "Here I stop. I do not accept this. This is who I am." It is essential to establish clear boundaries to affirm your identity, and that requires profound introspection and continuous self-evaluation. Second technique: take care of yourself. This is not just about aesthetics or appearances, but focuses on the energy you emit. When you neglect yourself, both internally and externally, you are communicating to the world, "I do not deserve attention. I am not worth enough. I can wait." And the world reflects this exactly back to you. Respect arises from the way you treat yourself, even in the smallest and seemingly insignificant details. Do you give yourself space? Do you speak to yourself kindly? Do you nourish yourself healthily? Do you allow yourself moments of silence and reflection? Because if you ignore yourself, the world will do the same, and your voice will become increasingly faint. Self-care is not a selfish act, but a fundamental necessity to interact with others in a healthy and respectful way. Investing time and energy in your mental and physical health is crucial to attracting the respect you desire. Third technique, speak with intention. There are individuals who talk incessantly, yet say nothing meaningful. On the other hand, there are people who speak little, but every word they utter is a precise hit, loaded with meaning and relevance. When you speak to fill moments of silence, to try to please others, or out of fear of silence itself, you are devaluing your voice and your message. Respect arises when you learn to give weight to what you say. Speak only when you truly feel that your words have value, when the words belong to you, and when silence becomes more comfortable, but the truth needs to emerge. You are asserting your presence and your value. Fourth technique, keep your promises. Not those you make to others, but those you make to yourself. Every time you promise something and do not keep it, your mind registers. I am not reliable. And it is precisely this message that you transmit, even without using words. Respect arises when you yourself believe in your word and your commitment. When you assert that you will do something, and then you do it, no matter how big or small the action is. Every micro-victory strengthens you. Every consistency creates a structure, and those with a defined structure manage to impose themselves and gain respect naturally and genuinely. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are building your self-esteem and your credibility. Fifth technique, build confidence in silence. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You do not need to raise your voice. You do not need to explain yourself continuously. True strength is quiet, invisible, and manifests in your gaze, your posture, and how you manage to remain centered when everything around you shakes. Authentic confidence never shows openly. It is perceived and breathed. And the more you learn to stay in your center, the more people around you adjust accordingly. There is no need to utter words like, "Respect me." Others will feel your presence and your value through the way you present and behave. Sixth technique, learn to say no. This may be the most difficult of the techniques, but it is also the most powerful. Every no you pronounce consciously is a yes to yourself. Many people do not gain the respect they desire because they do not know how to refuse, for fear of disappointing, losing opportunities, or seeming cold and distant. But in reality, saying no is one of the most loving acts you can do for your energy and well-being. When you learn to say, "This is not for me," or "I cannot accept this request," you are building a clear and defined line. People tend to respect those who have well-defined boundaries because they understand that your yes has real and authentic value. Learning to say no not only protects your time and energy, but also shows that you take yourself seriously and that your needs and desires matter. Seventh technique, respect others. This may seem like a trivial concept, but in reality, it is not at all. Respect is not something that is imposed. It is transmitted. And it is not about dominance, but resonance. When you learn to listen to others deeply, to not judge hastily, and to recognize others' emotions and experiences, you are creating a space of mutual dignity. And when you create dignity around you, the world returns it to you in equal measure, because the human mind works like a mirror. What you offer comes back to you, often amplified and reinforced. And in the end, all this is not a power game, but a game of truth. Who are you when no one is watching? What do you tolerate? Just to be accepted? Where do you betray yourself to feel loved and recognized? Respect begins exactly in those moments, at the moment you stop waiting for it passively and start embodying it actively. What is a specific situation where you felt ignored and now understand why it happened? If this journey through the techniques and reflections has resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. The mind still has much to reveal, and every step towards awareness is a step towards a more authentic and respected life.